Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down something super useful, a quality checklist that helps you understand and evaluate pretty much any program that's designed to change behavior.
So, think about it. How can you tell if some method for changing behavior is based on real science or if it's just a bunch of random tricks that happen to work once for your neighbor's kid? How do you separate the actual science from the guesswork?
Well, it turns out there's a whole scientific approach for this. It's called Applied Behavior Analysis, or ABA for short. And the best part is, it has a quality checklist built right into its DNA to answer that exact question. These are the guideposts that make sure the work is solid, ethical, and, actually works.
All right, let's get into it. The first three dimensions are the absolute bedrock of what makes ABA what it is. Think of them as the non-negotiables: applied, behavioral, and analytic. First up, we've got applied. This just means we're focusing on behaviors that really matter in the real world, behaviors that are socially significant. We're not just changing behavior for the sake of it. The whole point is to improve someone's quality of life in a way they can actually feel.
And this is where it gets really clear, right? Teaching a child to ask for help when they're stuck, that's a game changer. Counting how many times they blink for fun? Not so much. Reducing unicorn sightings? Yeah, definitely not. The behavior has to have real-world impact. Next up is behavioral. This one's all about precision. We have to focus on stuff we can actually see and measure. It's not about vague feelings or what we think is happening. We need to be able to look at the behavior and literally count it or time it.
And you can see exactly what I mean here. Instead of just asking if a child seems frustrated, which is super subjective, a behavioral approach would be something like, okay, let's count the number of times they throw their pencil. We need cold, hard data, not just a guess or a vibe.
And the third part of our foundation is analytic. This is where the science really kicks in. It's not good enough to just see a change in behavior. We have to prove that what we did, our intervention, is the reason the change happened. We have to show a clear cause and effect.
So yeah, the whole point is to prove it, to show with data that A caused B. We have to rule out plain old luck or coincidence or some kind of mysterious teacher aura. We need proof.
Okay, so we've got our foundation set. Now what's next? Well, if those first three are the foundation, these next two are like the detailed blueprint for the whole operation. They are technological and conceptually systematic.
Now, technological might sound a little complicated, but it's actually super simple. It just means that our procedures have to be written down so clearly, so precisely, that anybody else with the right training could pick up our plan and do it exactly the same way. Seriously, think of it like a recipe in a cookbook.
Consistency is absolutely everything here. A direction like give rewards as needed could mean a million different things to a million different people. But deliver a token for each hand raise? That is crystal clear. You need that level of detail for a plan to work reliably.
Number 5 is a big one, conceptually systematic. This means that all the techniques we use have to be connected back to the basic principles of behavior science, things like reinforcement, punishment, extinction. It ensures that ABA isn't just a random bag of tricks that we throw at a problem.
See, this is what separates the science from, well, just trying stuff. We don't just use stickers because they seem to work. We use them because we understand the scientific principles of reinforcement that make them effective. Everything is grounded in decades of research, not just folklore.
All right, we're at the home stretch. And these last two dimensions are honestly the bottom line. After all the science, all the planning, we have to ask, does it actually make a difference in the real world? And that's where effective and generality come in.
So, effective. This means the change we create has to be big enough to matter. It has to be a practical, meaningful difference. A squiggly line moving in the right direction on a graph is nice, but a change that actually transforms someone's daily life, that's the whole point.
And just think about the real impact here. A 2% decrease in a behavior might be statistically significant, but if no one can even notice it, who cares? Now, a child going from saying 0 words a day to 20 words a day, that is effective. That's a huge, life-changing deal.
And last but definitely not least, we have generality. This is all about making sure the behavior change sticks around for the long haul. It needs to last over time, pop up in new places, and maybe even spread to other similar behaviors that we didn't even directly teach.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is the ultimate goal, isn't it?
What's the point of learning a new skill if it just vanishes the second the therapist walks out the door? Real success is when the skills you learn at school are also being used at home, long after therapy is over.
And this right here, this quote just sums it all up perfectly. These 7 dimensions aren't just, optional suggestions. They are the very definition of applied behavior analysis. If a program is missing even one of them, it might be something, but it's not ABA. It's just behaviorish.
So, to really lock all this in, let's tie it together with a quick analogy. Let's think about all of this like we're building a house. It's a really simple way to remember how each of these 7 pieces works together to build something strong and reliable.
See how that clicks? First, you build a house that people actually need, right? That's applied. You have to use real bricks you can see and touch. That's behavioral. You prove that your design is why the walls are standing. That's analytic. Then you write a perfect blueprint so anyone can build it. That's technological. You follow real engineering principles, not just whims. That's conceptually systematic. And finally, the house actually has to work. It has to keep people dry in all kinds of weather. That's effective and general.
And that's really the big takeaway here. This isn't just some academic list of terms. These 7 dimensions are your personal quality checklist. They give you the power, whether you're a parent, a student, or a client, to ask the right questions and spot high-quality, scientific, and ethical support when you see it.
So, I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. Now that you've got this 7-point checklist in your back pocket, what are you going to start to notice? What will you see differently the next time you look at a program that promises to change behavior?